Good afternoon. I'm here at Stoney Shire, another edition of the beautiful soapbox, and I'm here with the lovely Sarah. I don't completely know your last name, but she's from Cupp O Deer, a lovely local business. There's O Deer, New York, and Cupp O Deer, New York, which are the same entity, the same place, but two totally different products. Beautiful boutique. And a beautiful, amazing smoothies and coffees, and I recommend anybody who loves coffee or smoothies. It's delicious. To check it out. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about like this, and the soapbox here is kind of a general format to talk to people like you, and you're new to the area, semi-new, within the last year. How long have you been here?
It's actually been a year.
Has it been a year?
In like 2 weeks, I believe. Yes.
Well, that sucks. I haven't even known you a year. That's been kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like you were there that long before I met you. What the heck?
Right.
And Cupp O Deer, it's such a unique name. And how long have you guys had the O Deer and Cupp O Deer open now?
So the O Deer New York actually opened the beginning of April. And then it took us about 2.5 months to finish the Cupp O Deer portion. So, yeah. So it was an experience. It was a lot of fun.
And like leading up to starting it, like what made you O Deer and Cupp O Deer? What was the story behind that?
In the front of our farm, when we moved here, it has one of those big, huge deers.
Yes, yep.
And I always envisioned that I would take that deer and move it to the shop and make it colorful, because I really love the Adirondack style, but I also really love city style.
Yep.
So I kind of want to combine the two. I don't know where I would put him now because there's not enough room.
Yeah.
But that was the idea behind it. And so I was throwing off names and, baby deer. And my husband was like, oh, Cupp O Deer, oh dear. And I was like, wait, oh, what do you mean? Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
And I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds really good. And then he goes, and Cuppa, he goes, my gran used to say creppa, Cupp O Deer, and a cup of tea.
Yeah,
and he goes, you want to offer coffee, tea, all of the above. So Cuppa. Cupp O Deer.
It's amazing how you and that's how you come up with a lot of stuff, like just spinballing stuff off each other, and then you come up with cool names and slogans and food and drinks, and you pervert a lot of cool stuff. And with the names when you were doing it, were there like any that you thought of that like you almost like that was going to be the name, but then you decided to stick with
Well, we
O Deer?
wanted, so an overall brand option, we wanted to do ODNY because O Deer New York, and then that would be our umbrella company. But there is a bicycle company that's copyrighted it. I mean, the copyright, I guess, is expired, but
For ODNY?
ODNY,
Okay.
yes. So it still might be an option, but that's
What
why
about
we did it.
ODCNY?
ODCNY.
Central New York.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. That'd be, or like NNY, Northern New York, or like you could, just put one more.
All those major brands, they usually have a moniker over all of the little brands.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So in running a business with a 4-year-old after coming here, that must be a hell of an adventure.
It is a unique process. She's become literally our store's mascot. So this summer it was really funny because daycare is very sparse in our area, very sparse in our area, and so she had to stay in the back of the shop. The back of our shop, actually, we've got 3 rooms. One of them we've kind of converted into like a mini house, and so she has like a towel back there and like a little chair, and like there she eats back there, and it's cute. But she'll come and she's like, I gotta go potty.
Yeah.
So sorry customers if you've seen her, but she's our really funny little mascot. But I mean, in all due respect though, she's actually kind of part of the reason we have that shop, because she is the Ulta princess and she loves the fancy dresses. And when we lived in Phoenix, it was very easy for us to get dresses that were froofy and they were really inexpensive. And we moved here, no one offered that. And so when we looked online, cost-wise, it was cheaper for us to buy in bulk than it was to buy just one.
Yep.
And so it was like, oh, hey, if she loves this at 4, every child would, so it just kind of progressed.
Yeah, and it's funny how you say that, because at Stoney Shire, we've all talked about how if we love it that much and want it, everybody else.
Right,
A lot of other
right.
people do too. So if you can get it for a heck of a price and resell it for a great price, then you have to do it. It's a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, the reality too is with our dresses. I mean, everything in our shop is under $25. So, I mean, I feel like
everything at your shop is under $25.
Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure that they hear that loud and honest and everything. Yeah, because you have some beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Beautiful stuff, and I've seen two-piece stuff in there, and it's under $25 too. The two-piece. It's amazing.
We've done that. We did that purposefully because we wanted to make sure that anyone can have a dress or anyone can have a suit for their child. And
you have beautiful stuff. Like I don't pay attention to the girls' foofy stuff, but I see it. I see it in there, and I'm like, wow. And then even like with the back to school that just came up, man, you guys were like.
Yeah.
It had some quality, cool stuff, and it flew off the shelves. Like
I try to make sure that we bring the high-end stuff in and offer it really reasonable. We had a lot of North Face that we sold for under $10. We had, and honestly, when we did our $1
and that's
sale,
like unheard of too. Like
we did. I had people walking out of the store with North Face, Patagonia, and we put them at $1 because it's like if we need kids clothes, then you need kids clothes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
And I'd rather make sure that someone has that option of quality used clothing for children. So
and you cook at the shop too, a lot.
I do. Yes.
Like you cook, and I know Lisa absolutely loves everything that you make and have, and I'm always like, because like just for my own personal experience, like it's not bad, it's delicious to everyone else. I just don't like certain things,
You're
like
just not a health food
turmeric or like it's delicious, it's good for you, but I just don't myself. I don't care for it, so I'll be like, oh, that's gross, and I'm like, I shouldn't use that word because it's not gross. I just don't like it. Like it's delicious
Brian.
and healthy. Yeah, I know.
Okay, Lisa.
Because you've heard it and seen it. Yeah.
Oh no, you ready? Okay, I'm gonna tell you a big secret. So Lisa always gets you sugar-free drinks. Sorry, Lisa.
I know she does. Because I get when I get the mixed berry, I'm like, the berry is so strong.
Right.
That it doesn't matter. Right. Right. But like if it's coffee, I love sugar. Like you guys know to add like a half an inch. Right. Like give me a medium cup, add about an inch of liquid sugar, and then just put a little bit of creamer in there. I'm good to go.
But that liquid sugar is sugar-free, you know that, right?
Yeah, the liquid sugar is, yeah.
It's sugar-free.
Yeah, because Cody showed me one day.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Lisa's like, don't ever tell him. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah. No, because I do weird stuff like that to her all the time. Put a little salt on her fries. No, not really. I've never done that. I'm not trying to kill her. What? No sugar is good for her. We put salt on it. It's like, that's deadly, So we've talked a little bit. Tell us more about your business. Like, the drinks, the clothing.
So the idea really behind the store really came from a need. When we moved here, I really am a healthy eater. I really do prefer a healthier palate. And when we came here, I really struggled with the drink options that we had. Personally, even before here, I'm a coffee, a tea, and I actually drink lemon water all the time, which is very much like lemonade. Mm-hmm. Like was my drink of choice. And so when I came here, I noticed that I was really limited in options unless I wanted Diet Pepsi. And so, it was green tea, regular coffee, because I really struggle also with coffee because some of the coffee that is offered around here, they actually add sugar to the coffee. Yeah. And I don't drink sugar. So it was kind of like, wait, if I'm having this and I know that the demographic in this area is older, that there's a lot of people that don't, have sugar as, in their daily life. And so it was just kind of okay, what can we offer? The brand that we use, I actually knew from Sprouts, and because they were trying to figure out how to get it to be an option to have in the markets. And so it was just kind of I knew the product. I knew the product was extremely delicious. It doesn't taste healthy. Yes. It doesn't give you a chalky aftertaste. It doesn't taste like you're eating.
Tastes like coffee when you're done drinking the coffee. Because I've gotten it just black because it's so good. Right. Like, and you think after drinking a cup of black coffee, you have that strong after coffee mouth breath. Right. You really don't. It's like I don't know how to explain it because it's like coffee. It's not, because like if you have coffee breath, how good was the coffee or what you added to it? Like you got to think of that, because coffee, it shouldn't leave a coffee breath. Right. Like, but if you add a bunch of crappy sugar and creamers and stuff, which we all love, that's when you get coffee breath. But if it's just a black cup of good coffee, you won't have coffee breath. That's crazy to people should think about
the
that.
Flavor the coffee.
Yeah, and it won't smell at all because you don't have any dairy or anything else in there. So that's incredible. Where's the coffee brand? The Sprout? Sorry, what was the name?
Oh, Sprouts it's like the West Coast version of Whole Foods.
Okay.
I know.
And that's where the coffee comes from. Okay.
So
'Cause it's delicious.
Yeah, so we actually use a highly caffeinated version, and then we use just a regular blend.
I love the highly caffeinated. It's like espresso. Like your regular coffee is equivalent to most other places, like rich in espresso roasts.
Right.
And and it's not like $12 for a cup neither. Like I can go in there and get a cup of coffee and add like 7 things to it, and it's like I don't even remember. It's way cheaper than.
And we do that on purpose because again, I really want to bring that narrative of I want you to eat healthy, but I want it to be budget friendly.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we really, when we were planning for our business, it really was. We want our drinks to be healthy, and the narrative is healthy with budget conscious for families.
Because it's affordable. It really is. So I know I get a smoothie almost every day if I can, and it's great after lunch to have a smoothie before dinner because it fills you, gives you energy, you get your fiber, you get your protein, you get your and you can add the other like special stuff to it, and like I'll add creatine, energy, and caffeine, all this weird stuff, and I don't really see a huge markup on the price. Like it's not like 80 cents a squirt, $1 squirt. It's like in the price. It's kind of so it's really affordable. And how do you come up with your drink specials? Like
so
they change a lot as well.
I haven't really marketed this very much, but so whenever I make drinks for the week, 2 of them are fun. They're just fun drinks. I like the flavor palette, but then 2 of them are specifically for a certain reason, and all of our drinks are themed per week. So like this week, our theme was kind of fall themed. So we did sassafras, and the sassafras tree has very specific medical qualities that really help with some ailments. And then we've also got the cinnamon. So when I build these drinks, there's
recipes
actually
and formulas
so like I have a notebook of I think at this point it's probably 100 and some drink options that I have and things that I want to make. And so then it's just kind of like me breaking them apart, being like, okay, so I noticed that it's the first week of school. We're going to put some energy in this one. Or I noticed that like after Thanksgiving, we're going to have a drink that'll be for digestion. Yeah. Right. So to get your
energy too,
to get your gut, microbes back to where they should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's really like thinking about what's going on in our environment that, may need some medical help, may need some help with those specific like ailments.
That's really smart and like really I appreciate that myself. Like you're like what you just described to me, I like really appreciate that. Like you're doing that because I go in there a lot. Right. So like when I order this delicious drink, I'm not realizing like, oh, last week was Halloween, so it's like helped me process my sugar. Or last week was Easter. Right. So how many freaking deviled eggs did I eat? So I don't need whatever's in those eggs. I don't need a lot more of that. So in the drink, it's the lesser amount. So
I think. So we have approximately, I think I literally am redoing our supplements right now, but I think we're at 45 supplements at this point. And most of those supplements.
It's a buffet of supplements.
Yes. And my goal is actually to reach to about 60, because there's still more that I want to actually bring to our shop and offer.
And each supplement adds its own unique vitamins and nutritional facts. Right. Do a lot of them have the same like nutritional facts, or they're all pretty much different?
They're all different. Each of them
don't have like high
some of them,
everything.
We have a lot that really do work on sports nutrition.
Yeah.
And that's just simply because with a protein smoothie, we do have those options of the extra high performance.
The B vitamins.
Yeah.
And the
we've also got
irons.
But then we've also got those drinks that we have created to help with those as well.
And after and before workouts too. Like the greens one is really good for like right when you're starting to go to work. Like if you're off to start your day, add some greens to your drink, and it, like something about it, the greens just really help you get going. And they all like I haven't got a brain freeze because I'm smart enough to drink them slow. You guys also offer the big good straws, so I'm not trying to drink this ice cold drink out of a tiny straw. And you have what was the tea or no the lemonade, banana lemonade? Is that
Oh
this
yes,
week?
we did a banana cream lemonade.
Banana cream lemonade. How was that? I haven't tried that yet. It sounds delicious.
Well, it really does taste like banana cream.
Really?
And on the top, we actually made homemade banana cream whipped topping.
So on the top is
on the
banana
top
cream
is
whipped
actually
topping?
yes. So you've got whipped cream, and then the actual part of
It's
it is
like a formula for yum.
so yes.
I should write that down.
A formula for yum.
A formula for yum.
Yummers.
And back to your style, because you're very classy. Like what gets you your style? Where did that originate? Where's that come from?
So when I was in high school, I worked at a clothing store,
Oh.
and one of the things that we used to do, and it still sticks with me, and I think this is where the whole thing comes from. The clearance, we'd have those big racks of clearance clothes.
Yep.
There would be competitions, take the clearance clothes and make an outfit out of it. And then, we'd get like whatever for it. And so it just kind of like stuck with me. And then from there, it kind of progressed to going to those antique stores and Goodwill. And, even now, half of my clothing is Walmart, Goodwill, eBay.
Pick up pieces wherever to create a custom clothing.
And then I add weird stuff like, my tall clogs. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my clogs? Yeah.
Look at them things. Freaking high-rise.
So
them are amazing.
Right. So I just kind of add those really unique, like this is a vintage piece.
Yep.
It's just kind of adding those unique pieces.
And then like a beautiful dress with a nice like leather short sleeve coat on.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
cool.
kind of like I try to bring those really unique pieces in because I do have that artistic side of me. So it's like
absolutely. Yep.
So it's like bringing those pieces in. When I'm at the shop, oftentimes I'm wearing more athleisure because I may be doing smoothies one minute or putting up racks of clothing.
Those are kind of like your scrubs. Like if you were a doctor or nurse, that'd
That's
be
kind
like
of how
your
I think
scrub
about it.
suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Part of everything in my shop is like I really think like it's a part of me and Cody. Everything from the fact that we always offer Werther's candies at the front. That reminds my mom and my mom and dad. Always had Werther's there. The jewelry when I was little, I still have tons of jewelry compared to most people. It's just like a little pieces of me that like I have found unique and I found that, it makes me different.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they showcase it in our store. Even with the food, most of it is healthy, but it's unique. Like we offer, in fact, people still come in and say, can you offer, I did it was like a squash medley. And people were like, oh my gosh, it's so good. And it was a breakfast.
Like a ratatouille type of
No, so
medley,
it was acorn butternut with a potato. And so it was a breakfast option. And I put a little Saison seasoning
Yeah, I was
in
to say,
it.
your season, as soon as you seasoned it was delicious. Because everything you make is perfectly seasoned for taste. Like, because you must taste test everything, and then you're like, oh, it needs a little this, needs a little that, right? Yeah. So you're like a mad scientist, or like, and then you always make a label too. Like you get done, you're like, oh, I put all this in it, make a little label, and you stick it on there. And it's like, there's no sugar or salt in this. How the hell did you make it good? Like, and it's good. Like a lot of people think they gotta shake the salt and the sugar, and you don't. It's amazing.
But I think also too, like I've lived all across the United States, like literally in pretty much every region. So I've gotten accustomed to cooking a lot of different spices because one thing that you realize when you lived in every single region, certain foods are not available. So you have to acclimate. Like here, it's a lot of Italian food, a lot of but there's not a lot of ethnic foods unless you go to like Utica, Syracuse. But like here, so you have to be really creative with what you have, which is great because now I'm like, oh, I can change that a little bit and it can still give me the flavor of, maybe a Mexican dish.
Let's see, like the biggest challenges so far for you with your business and.
So I always tell people that the night before we actually opened I was in tears the night before we opened up the food portion. And
the
it was
food, like smoothie and
like
food
the
portion?
Smoothie portion.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I was in tears.
You probably told me, I forgot.
And I was like, what if nobody likes this? I do have kind of an eclectic taste in a lot of areas, and it's a different concept than that's available. And so I really was like, what if they hate this? Like, we
So
put
the
our savings.
smoothies and the coffee and the
Yeah.
lemonades and the food, like you were thinking nobody's gonna like any
I
of it.
literally was.
So you were
Yeah.
beating yourself up before you even gave yourself a chance.
I did.
Sounds like something.
Even though you were there for the
well,
testing and you were like,
yeah,
this is so
the
good.
smoothie, yeah, the
But I was
pina
like-
colada the first time I had it.
Yeah.
Man, it's weird. I'm drinking water but my mouth keeps watering, like talking about all this food. I almost messaged you earlier to see if you'd bring like a rack of smoothies so we could be drinking them. It's like bring a bunch of mixed berry. Like bring the 2 pitchers with straws.
Bring some.
We'll be all set. So leading up, so the day before you opened the food portion, because you'd had the boutique and the clothing and the but you was it like a lot of people coming in? Was it starting to pick up like traffic and
Well, a little bit. Like
sales
the first few
before?
days were it kind of progressively snowballed. So when we first opened, people were, you could tell they were like, okay, what are you giving us?
what's
Like,
this?
right? Like,
Yeah.
and then you'd have someone be like, wow, this is really good. It doesn't taste healthy.
No, it doesn't.
And then it just kind of snowballed. And then people were like, wait, I don't know. I mean, I trust you because you're a little, you're a person that doesn't like anything. I had that a lot. People would come in and say, oh, well, my uncle really liked this and he doesn't like anybody.
Yep.
And so that's really how it kind of started snowballing. And then people that I didn't even anticipate would like it were coming in and they were driving from
especially
Rome
contractors,
and-
like these guys that are out doing pouring concrete and running excavators all day. They get one of them smoothies and they take a sip. They're like, man, I gotta have one of these every day.
Right.
Because they're like, they get off the dozer, they get out of the dump truck, and they've been running all day. They're hot and tired. They go in, they can add a little energy, a little bit of creatine or protein to calm your muscles and relax them, and then they can go to dinner and go home, and it cools you down so nice. Like, I know, like when I get my home, I take my work boots off, and when I used to like work out of town, as soon as I got in my own personal vehicle for the day, I take my shoes off and put on my slides to drive, because like my feet were hot, sweaty in boots. So like just having that nice cold smoothie with the AC on, with your slides on, driving an ice cold car, it's like just that alone is like a peace of mind that's and it gives you a little time to reflect on yourself. Like, man, today was hot, and it, you know how when you get to work, you think about everything you could be doing other than work. It doesn't seem like you get to that point at work, because like you love what you're doing and you have so much to do. Like, people don't see the behind the scenes. You're doing all the like stock you have and inventory you have, and like if you're out of banana for the smoothies or you need ice, and you're very, very productive, very I don't know what it is with the women around here, but they make us men look lazy. I mean, a lot of us, we'll go to work all week and we'll do stuff, but then you guys like go to work all week, then go home and still do this. Like, I don't know, you're impressive.
But shout out to my husband is amazing. Like,
Yes,
I
he is.
cannot tell you, like I work
He has
hard,
your back.
but he
Yeah.
literally he's right next to me 100% of the time. Like, when we are working together, I will tell him I need to bust out these 4 things, and he may run out of bananas, and he will improvise to make sure that the product's consistent. And then he'll be like, okay, at last stitch, I need you to go right now. How far are you on your list? So he is amazing. Literally,
You have a great partnership.
He's
like,
great.
not only are you married and like but you have your team and your partners. Because I always tell people that about like Lisa, because like before her, I was always with people who didn't have like a job or a car, and like they'd move in, and like Lisa described them as hobosexual, because they sleep with you and like love you for a place to live, something to eat, and a ride to where they need to go.
Right.
And then as soon as you don't give it to them, they leave. And I'm like, because we both had them relationships. So when I met her and she had a vehicle and a job and her own place, so we could stay at each other's houses and drive, it was like, now we're a partnership. Like,
Well,
literally,
you're
like
gonna
we
love
do
this,
a
Brian.
lot.
So for me to meet Cody, it was a very interesting process. My previous boyfriend before him really kind of left me, and so I was like, wait, I am a horrible dater. Like, I have not figured this out. So I actually work with a relationships expert who
Really?
Yes. And I went on a 1.5-year journey, and there's
Like a 1.5-year dating journey?
yes,
Or a year and a half?
I literally
Really?
I had to go on 2 dates a day So that would often be 2 dates a day, and I wasn't
So
allowed
many
to.
times dates did you go on before you met Cody? Like that
So
day?
I dated like 2 other people previously before
so-
him that were pretty serious. A few that were semi-serious, but I mean, he was the one who like had all the check marks, all that he across the board, like everything with him was
his crazy met your crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that's exactly what you need.
The funniest story about our first date was when we went on our first date. I literally went in the bathroom and had to have a pep talk because I was so like I really liked him already at that point.
Oh, so you didn't want to like be a stage 3 clinger and scare him off the first day.
Well, I had a drink and I was getting tipsy and I was like, I didn't want to like sound horrible, and so I went to the bathroom and he thought I left him in the bar.
Yeah, he told me that like 45 minutes or 48 minutes. He like knew exactly how long it was because the waitress thought you left him, or the server came out and was like, would you want us back? He's like, no, we're wait. Good thing he did, because imagine if you came out and he left and paid, and I'm so glad, like, because he even must have knew. No, she didn't leave. Probably knew there's no escape route when you go to that bathroom. You know?
There kind of wasn't, so yeah,
I definitely would love to hear a little bit like about your upbringing. You kind of did very well to we kind of rolled that all into everything. Your mom was a cook.
My mom. I really had kind of a diverse background growing up. My real father is Native. I grew up with. There's a lot of substance use in my childhood.
Like both sides?
No, my father was an addict.
And that's with being Native American. I'm sorry, but
no, it
being
is.
Native American, it's
so
hard.
I'm a very big activist for
that's amazing.
For being Native American and living a life that is honoring to the Creator and honoring to universe.
Yep.
That's really, really significant to me.
Yep.
And I myself.
Did he get help? Like
no,
eventually,
he died. He actually passed away when I was 15.
Substances and.
So little did he know that he actually had a heart condition, and when you do drink and use drugs, it kind of makes that worse.
So sped it up.
Yes. And so it was kind of a big eye opener for me. But I had spent my whole life watching the trauma with that. Right.
Yeah.
Now as an adult, I can talk about it because I've really processed through it a lot. My mom. My mom was really, really great. She got me married when I was very young. And my stepdad was amazing.
So your parents got divorced while your dad was still alive?
Actually, my parents weren't married when I... So my parents actually... My mom and my biological dad actually were married. They were like when they were 15 and 16. They got married very, very young. And my mom was white. My dad was Native. So there's that interracial component.
Yeah, which, the families
in the
both,
60s was not...
Absolutely.
Really, in Montana, being married to a Native is very
It sucks
not
how
good.
just in like the last 10 years, all that started becoming more like, I don't care. Nobody cares. Yeah, they're not like, and like they say biracial or mixed race or like, people of color and stuff, where when we were kids, that's not any of the terminology.
No, it wasn't.
Just 20 years ago, that wasn't terminology. And I'm so glad it's starting to become like that. And even like the racial bigots are starting to use that slander out in public and around people instead of using like colored people or stuff that like it's just
that has
ignorance
a really
to
racial
say.
bias
Yeah,
to it, right?
Yeah. And then there's still ones that say some crazy stuff. So you grew up with your parents grew up with that 16, 17 getting married, and then you were.
Well, I actually So my parents actually, like, they were together. I have 2 older sisters that are biologically my sister. My real father was he struggled a lot. He had a lot with the alcoholism. He had a lot of his own mental health stuff that he never really addressed. And again, that comes down to that. I'm the only male in my family in a patriarchal situation. So there's all of that aspect, and then boys don't cry, and my dad was also
he was masking all of that.
Right. And then add in that domestic violence component with the anger, and he had a lot. But he ended up remarrying. So I have a half sister and a stepsister. And then
they're your sisters, though. It's, you don't. Yeah, like you say that to me, but when you introduce them, it's my sister.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
you love them all the same.
Found out 2 years ago that my father had other children, so I had a sister that showed up on a DNA test.
Amazing.
She's awesome. So it's been kind of a role, and then
That's a congratulations moment to find out, like, you know,
that I have an
'cause-
amazing sister.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Shout
she has
out.
an amazing sister too.
Yeah,
like,
she is.
That's
Great.
incredible.
I always
Like,
wanted
you
to have
guys
a
are
little
both-
sister, so it was kind of cool to.
Are you the oldest?
No, I am the middle child.
Middle child.
But I grew up thinking I was the kind of the youngest child because my sisters that were my biological sisters,
Yeah.
were older than me by 16 years. So my parents actually, I'm the offspring of an affair from my parents. So my parents met up in a party, and here I am. But yes, that's the story with my. They always loved each other. My real father was, he was.
So you're a love child.
But yeah,
Really, like,
literally,
you know, lost love, rekindled,
Right.
and then you.
They did that often, you know.
So that's cool though, because that means like you always were like loved. Like, you know, all the trauma and, you know, anything that's happening, they both still loved you and cared for you.
Well,
in the end.
my mom actually. So when this happened, she found out she was pregnant with me. She literally stopped talking to my dad, and she was like,
She didn't tell him?
No, she did tell him,
Oh,
but
she
she
did?
was just like, I don't want you to be part of his life. And it wasn't until I think I was like 8 or 9, maybe even 7.
Mom's a good judge of character.
Yeah,
like
well,
you.
my mom really was kind of like, you know, I want to be healthy, and this isn't a healthy narrative. She was at that point in her stage of her own life, and she met
And
my
your mom's white, so you were raised
she's a little
with
bit of Native and a little bit of Hispanic, but she's mostly
white. So when you were raised, everyone just thought you were.
Everybody thought I was
a regular
Italian
white
because,
kid.
well, my stepfather's Italian, so everyone just thought that I was Italian
Yeah,
with the
which
dark
would make
hair.
sense. Yep,
Right.
dark, very dark. Yep.
And so
Really nice tan out. If you go out in the sun for 10 minutes.
that's really what everyone thought. And so, you know, I kind of had that narrative. But as I got older, you know, I kind of you realize the world and you realize the difference, and you know,
darkness that's out there.
right. And so then it kind of became more prominent of this is my background, this is my history, and then I started spending summers. One of my sisters actually at that point lived next to my dad.
So
So
like 16-year older sisters, or
yes,
Oh,
but
so
because
they
they were. I mean, when I was 10, they were already children.
yeah, 20
right.
something, and so you had nieces and nephews that were
Yeah, I have
almost
2
close
nephews
to age.
that are 3 and 4 years younger than I am.
Yeah, so that was
So they were more like brothers than they really were, you know.
Yeah,
I beat 'em up
absolutely.
like
They
my
were
brothers,
family,
even
yeah,
though they're my
yeah.
nephews, right?
Yeah.
And so, but as I grew, like my dad was. I would go see him during the summers on the reservation, and you know when he passed, I was there. And
the reservation culture of it helps you with like your shop too, because they're making your own jewelry, they're making your smoothies, they're making the healthy food, they're making all the stuff. Was it always like that too, or was there like a lot of years where like you ate like we all
I
a lot of
did,
us eat garbage
so
a lot
at
of
one
the
point,
time?
I actually
you know,
weighed close to 400 pounds.
I know you've said that. I
So-
just can't picture it.
Yeah, I did. I weighed for the first, I don't know, I think maybe 20 some years of my life, almost 30 years.
So rolling into the health food was a real like
Yeah, life
to help
changers,
yourself.
Yeah. It was
Like,
I
was there
literally-
something that made you do that? Like
I was
for health wise?
pre-diabetic, and I literally remember having like this like aha moment where I was like, I am literally killing myself with a fork and spoon, and I consciously knew
Eating
that.
your feelings.
Yeah, I
And
literally
then you were
was
still
like,
doing it because
Right,
it
I
was
didn't
a-
know any
yeah,
other coping
yeah.
mechanism, and then I actually had gastric bypass in 2007, and I lost a whole bunch of weight, and I realized though,
17 years ago.
yeah, and it was literally a few months.
So
after.
Gilby never saw you really.
No,
And then the rest.
and then and then I didn't like being healthy that way because that's a whole different thing where suddenly you have to learn
Yeah,
to eat and you
portion
get sick.
control and. So the smoothies are amazing for that though.
Great.
Because you can't. They have all your values if you put them together, right? So that's really a good thing because I know my girlfriend, if she eventually someday she'll have to have the gastric bypass, and them smoothies will be like her daily like her food for a long time. 42 Schuyler Street, right?
Yep.
I just want to put that out there too, real quick. 42
Across from the
Schuyler
gazebo,
Street,
'cause
across
we
from
have
the
that
gazebo.
beautiful-
Yep,
yeah.
next to the it's in one of the Payne's buildings, but it's right next to the light. You turn at that light, it's right there.
There's
See
Willow
it.
and the chamber right next to us.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And I told you earlier I was here. I found a business that we both found. We haven't been there yet, but it's down by the laundromat. In the same plaza, Shoemaker's Plaza. Yeah, Shoemaker's Plaza. It's called where the laundromat is. There's a store in there. It's like a bargain bin or a discount. I just heard about it. I don't know. I'm here to check it out. If you guys want to check it out, support local businesses. You know, definitely check out Cupp O Deer and O Deer right on Schuyler Street. I know you're not involved in it or anything, but it's a mental health. It's Suicide Prevention Month, right?
Yes.
So at the fairgrounds on September 22nd, there's Tomorrow Needs You, which is a great event, and we sponsor it a little bit, and then I donated a basket, stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure Tim and Corey, Stoney Shire, always have put a basket together, just stuff to bring people there to help with suicide prevention, like knowing about it, mental health aspect. And then you're right across from the beautiful suicide prevented gazebo.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
I noticed that yesterday. What was it, yesterday? It's been like that since the first week of the month.
Right, yeah.
And I just noticed it.
Was,
it's been 2 weeks almost, and I finally noticed it.
And it's such I think that this month is, we've all,
It's
I think
important.
pretty much, I think everybody has met someone that's passed. My best friend actually died from suicide. So it's very, it's very important to me.
Yeah, me too.
Suicide prevention is something, where the survivors that could have,
It's selfish
the
because,
reality
for the
is
person because we suffer. They got out the easy way.
I think that when you have someone that dies by suicide, they just pass that sadness on to you.
Yep. And you'll never.
But then the reality is that when you become healthy, you really kind of have that inner conversation of, maybe that person's death was to stop another suicide, and that's how I think about it.
To teach others, that's a very good way to think about it too. Like we should all think about it like that. And I know some of the people that I had that died from suicide, I had been there when I was still in active addiction. They'd bomb or come or kill myself. I'd go over and talk them down, talk to them and stuff, and I was always like, if you're gonna kill yourself, you don't tell anybody. But then when I got sober, I stopped the people, places, and things. So I stopped hanging out with these people. And the ones that died from suicide, it was a couple years into my sobriety, and I'm like, could I have helped them? They would have done it no matter what. So, and if I didn't answer the phone because they called, they would have done it. So it's I was just prolonging the inevitable. But
and again,
suicide
I
is
think when we have that
horrible.
conversation of mental health, right?
Yep.
Then there needs to be a real serious change in our literally just the whole mental health.
And
dialogue.
you have mental health issues. I know, I think everybody in this room knows we have mental health issues. Probably everybody on the screen. And if you don't think you have mental health issues, you probably do, and you should address them because you'll live a happier, healthier life without addressing your trauma.
The reality
and
is
your
that
issues.
everyone has trauma. Everyone.
And co-occurring is the biggest thing. A lot of drug addicts and everybody doesn't realize their co-occurring is where you drink or drug and you have trauma. So mental health, trauma, and drug addiction all run hand in hand. A lot of the people who kill themselves are previously addicted to substance use. It's called substance use disorder, which I love hearing over addiction. And I'd rather hear addict or addiction over junkie. So it's just terminology really goes a long way with everybody. Saying it the right way, the mental health. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? If you had unlimited funds, what would you do with your life and throughout? You're a billionaire right now, $1 billion.
It would all be philanthropy for me.
Yeah, me too.
Hands down, animals, kids.
Buying things for people.
One thing I kind of did want to point out about our shop is that we are in the process of starting a nonprofit, and that was always the idea behind our shop. Was that the people that consign their clothes when their term is up. Previously, we were purchasing clothes. The clothes that we did not purchase, they could be donated. We'll be putting them in suitcases to take the foster care children.
That'd be amazing.
Because our daughter is adopted. Both of us have a significant background with foster children.
Orphanages still exist. They just don't call them that.
They're group homes.
Yep. Just like global warming doesn't exist, global warming doesn't exist, but climate change does.
Right.
It's just terminology.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So that's amazing. I hope you do the nonprofit, because a lot of people think you start a nonprofit so you can have money, and like, no, you're like philanthropy. That's a great way, because you're just constantly giving. You know, even if it's giving a guy, your neighbor, a smoothie one day, that right there is so heartwarming, and like somebody gave me something.
Being a social worker and watching kids have to leave their families, it changes how you think about. I mean, if you think about all of the things that are important to you, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that they made us do when both my husband and I became foster parents is you had to write down the 5 most important things in your life, right? And for you, that'd probably be Lisa, you know, your dogs, right? How would you pick one of them to get rid of? Say, pick something.
Yeah.
We'll say dogs, right? So that leaves 4 that you have to, right? Yeah. And then if someone says to you, well, you can only take 3, you have to take 3 of the most important things, right?
Like,
so you
have
to
to get rid of
about
all
them,
your dogs
right?
is 1, like,
right?
Like you guys, all your dogs is 1, all your cats is 2. Like, how are you even?
How do you?
Yeah,
I mean, if
like,
you're a child,
you go homeless, you keep all your animals, like.
And if you're a child, right? What is that? My home, my family, my school,
your parents, your school.
You know, my routine, my favorite foods. They just lost that all in literally 5 seconds, right? They're gone. They're
they
those
got
5
in the
things
car
are gone.
and they never
They're
get
gone.
it back.
They never get it back.
Gone.
Or if they do get it back, it's not the same.
Different.
Right. So that's why it's really, really important for us to even give them those basics: toothbrush, toothpaste, socks. You know, maybe an outfit for them to go to school.
Even having a suitcase full of clothes that you're giving them, because that's like, if you guys start a nonprofit, ask like for donated suitcases. So many people have. I was gonna say, so many people have suitcases. Like, I know we have 6 or 8, and I'm positive Corey and Tim have old antique suitcases that they give to a kid.
Yes.
Like, you know, like.
And you got to think. So the reason why we have
people.
the suitcases are because when
It's
kids literally leave, and that because they usually have
That's
about
what they
15
have,
minutes
is
to
a
a half hour.
suitcase to leave.
They don't even have a suitcase. They
Yeah,
usually
they
have a garbage bag.
Yep, a garbage bag.
They have a black garbage bag most of the time, because that's the cheapest thing for CPS, DPS.
And that's you contract your bag or a little 25. You know, it's usually the smallest black bag you can carry.
Right.
Like, you're not
and then
carrying
imagine,
your
just a
bag.
thought for you. So they go from there to sometimes to a group home or to a temporary foster home, and then they find another foster home and then another foster home. So suddenly it's like garbage bag to garbage bag. So now you look at garbage bags as, you know,
that's
where
your
if
life.
you have a suitcase, at least it's something that is yours.
Yep, and you can organize it, set it up, because in a garbage bag, nothing's organized. You gotta search through the whole thing, unfold, tear it apart, find your socks at the bottom. Where a suitcase, that'll be amazing. I really like the idea. So I hope the not-for-profit, you know, it's not-for-profit, right?
Yeah.
Like, becomes, and will that be, what would the name of that be? Do you have a name or a slogan or something?
We actually have, when we initially started our foster care journey, I'm trying to think of what we had we started a Facebook page. We never completed, only because we ended up adopting immediately. Our daughter kind of came to us as a blessing, and so we didn't really have.
Does she know she's adopted?
Yes, we have. Okay. Actually, her bio grandparents just came about a month ago.
That's amazing that they're still in her life.
We still have, it's really significantly important to us that she has that history. Because we do know how important it is to have the identity. And
it's good for them too, because of health issues. If someday doctors can't figure it out and you're not the real parents and she thinks you are, they're gonna test you for a kidney or a liver or something, and now you have. That's really that's nice. You guys are great at everything you seem to do. But you don't really have a name, because you got the foster kid off the bat. You don't really, because everyone tells Lisa she's always doing too much. So we always said if we started non-for-profit, it's gonna be called Doing Too Much.
Well, so the one that we have is actually called For the Love of a Home.
And
so we actually have a Facebook page, but we just never finished.
That's a good idea, because
we got ours.
For the love of a home, a suitcase needs a home.
Right.
To unpack.
Kid needs a home.
And that's just a starting point. And you just mentioned the suitcase, and I kind of stuck on that if you didn't notice, but it's incredible. Like,
and also I really want to point out, if you do have the option of, a lot of
fostering
times,
or
yes,
adopting,
please foster.
or
We have
if you know,
kids
yeah, because there's
that even just need a temporary home where
Yep,
mom and
and,
dad, straighten out their mental health.
New York State, it's so hard to adopt, but to foster, you can become a foster parent, and you get paid for it.
Right.
Yes, you get paid for it, but whatever you get paid for it, you should put that much in yourself.
Right.
To be a good foster parent, you should, whatever your check is, you should give that much out of your own pay.
Oh, yeah.
To be a good.
Yeah.
You don't just get foster money for your kid and that's your money and you don't even spend it on them. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
100% to get a paycheck from a child is wrong.
I agree. I agree.
It's wrong.
The reality, though, I think is that, if you're taking care of a child,
Yes.
you really should be using that to care
Yes,
for
to
them.
care for that child.
But the reality is, if you're paying your mortgage payment, you're putting your
Yeah,
roof
you
over their head.
yeah,
So,
and you can't pay.
that's how I think about it.
Yes, exactly. That's
you guys
breaking
all,
it down.
right.
That's exactly how I was thinking about. That money is their money for that kid
Right.
to live, and you put that much money into a house, give them a ride to school, a bicycle, and that they pay for their own bicycle, but they don't need to know all that, Like a hodgepodge of love and family should be
Right.
absolutely in there.
And I think that the kids that really do need these homes, you don't have to be rich.
No, you
You
don't.
don't have to be super educated. You don't have to have the best home.
You're gonna foster more kids?
We go back and forth. Our
Eventually,
farm-
maybe
yes.
once someone's 10.
I know that right now our house wouldn't pass a home inspection only because it's so old and we've got so much to
For,
fix.
for
But
a
it is
kid.
definitely, I think, a goal that we want to.
She's 4 or 3.
She'll be 4 in 2 weeks.
So 4. So in 6 years, your home will be ready. You'll be more.
Yeah, I'm hoping over the
That'd be
next 2
incredible.
years that
2 years.
Yeah,
to
I'm hoping because
to
I
adopt
really,
another or foster another.
I definitely feel fostering, but I can't ever.
You recommend
the
that,
universe. I can't ever say that because we never. I mean, I shouldn't say we never intended on adopting. It just ended up being that the perfect child came to us.
She's amazingly smart and
And,
cool and funny.
Honestly,
I think a
the universe really
4 or 3-year-old
was
should
just
be,
kind of
though.
like, this is intended for you.
Absolutely, you're good parents, and it's kids should be kids, and you let her be a kid. You're not drilling her every day. Do this. Yes, you are, because you have to have discipline, and kids have to have chores and stuff. But she's really smart and very joyful and happy. But like that, she's not. Because I saw her one time throwing hissy fit, and I'm like, wow, I'd never seen this side of this kid. Poor you, poor Cody.
But again, that comes down to mental health. We do believe that she might be on the spectrum.
Could be, yes.
When she was born, because she was born exposed, she does have, a side
Yep.
delay.
Yep.
So she's really hilarious because she'll just be walking and her feet don't work. But these are the things that I absolutely love about her. That's the beauty of my beautiful daughter is, is that she does that.
Yeah, beautifully imperfect.
Right.
Imperfections that make
She gets,
people,
when you see her freak out, it's because she's super anxious.
Yeah,
I want
or
a
she
smoothie,
doesn't,
smoothie.
And
Okay,
sudden
smoothie.
change on any kid, it's time to go. This time I saw it, it was time to go, and Cody was putting her in the car. I was just like, poor Cody. He's just come on, you gotta put your seatbelt on. And it was crazy. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, or future plans,
I'm
aspirations,
super excited
life,
for
or?
Halloween.
Yes.
I'm super excited. I've always thought kind of our smoothies, our drinks, our potions.
Yeah. A little bit of witchcraft into
Right.
them, but
I
there's
honestly
formulas.
believe that.
and-
Because we do offer that
Yes.
full line of supplements, and I do really work with each person to help support them.
You make a sleepy time formula, a potion
well,
for to
yeah,
help people
honestly,
relax.
So
and,
using that tart cherry juice, that's actually
really?
part of
What's it called?
tart cherry juice is very,
So
very
it's
good.
cherry juice.
Yeah, so cherry
Oh
juice
yeah,
is
that's
actually
amazingly
really
soothing
good.
for
Right.
arthritis and gout, because I have gout. But if I have gout flare-ups, tart cherry juice, dude, you drink a cup of that stuff raw. I don't drink it raw because it's tart, but it within 3 minutes, dude, I swear to you, your inflammation starts decreasing.
Well, we
off
actually
cherry
had
juice.
we had
So that's
the baseball team. The
was that
coach
sleep?
would come in
Yeah.
and he would get a recovery
Get
drink
tart-
and it had tart cherries in it.
So does it help you
Flavors.
sleep too, or does it just
Yes.
help inflammation? It
It does.
really helps
Yes.
inflammation.
In
Yeah.
fact, there's actually 2 studies right now in JAMA that talk actually
About
about
tart
the
cherry
tart
juice.
cherries.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So,
And I didn't know. We'll wrap this up.
yeah, sorry.
All right. So this has been Sarah from Cupp O Deer in O Deer, New York. I'm sure I rambled a little bit. It was a very good discussion. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for taking time to do this with us.
Thank you so much, Stoney Shire, for having me on. It was so much fun.
This has been another edition of the Stoney Shire Soapbox. We look forward to talking to you guys again, and please enjoy the video and watch again.
Hey, before you head out, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. Every little bit helps in the long-term goals. Stay in the loop and follow us on Facebook, because trust me, you don't want to miss out what's to come. Join into our group pages and join the fun. And while you're at it, why not see what's happening at StoneyShire.com? Want to contribute to our cause? You can donate through our website or make a purchase at our shops. It all goes right back into building this dream. All those links can be found below in the description. Are you an artist? A writer? A juggler? Cheese maker, or something in between? Whatever your talent is, we want to hear about it. So why not send us an email and tell us what it is, and discover where passion really gains a voice.